Welcome to the Wrestling Still Cool podcast. My name's KM. So, if you have been paying attention to social media and are familiar with the social media app known as TikTok, you are probably familiar with this guy. His name is MacReuber on TikTok. He's one of the biggest contributors, I would say, to the wrestling subsection of TikTok, and everyone that posts on there will get a response from him, and he has several thousand followers. So this is the discussion between MacReuber and I, both how he got into the wrestling business, because honestly, if you paid attention to his content, he admits that he was trained by a wrestler, or trained to wrestle, not trained by a wrestler, but trained to wrestle. So we talk a bit about that, amongst the other things, including music and how we were in high school, whether or not he performed in athletics before, if he is really a big AEW hater that his content leads you to believe, if he really is a kiss ass, if you will, to WWE, things of that nature. So check it out. We'll go right into it.
So what do you want? Where do you want me to start my background?
Like, I know you said you in previous recordings that you were trained to be a wrestler. Where did you train?
So okay, so this is a story within itself. So I used to work at a radio station. I've been a lifelong wrestling fan, and before me and my girlfriend started dating, that's what I was going to do. I was going to graduate college. I was going to graduate high school, and I was going to apply for OVW to train there because I live about an hour and a half away from OVW.
Okay.
So that was the idea.
Right.
But me and my girlfriend got together, and we, unlike a lot of high school relationships, made a long-term plan together. We're still together to this day, and
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, we're going on 10 years this March. But this I made the decision. I was like, okay, I cannot be John Cena and leave her here. That's just not fair for her. Also, I don't have the athleticism to. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm going to be a wrestling fan forever. And fast forward to me working at this radio station. There was a local promoter / not promoter doing a charity event for his kid, and he was like, I want to come into the radio and promote this. And the DJ was like, Zach, I don't know shit about wrestling. Can you just do the interview? I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do the interview. Yeah, absolutely. So I do this interview, and we're making small talk after the interview, and I'm like, man, I would love to be part of a wrestling show. And he's like, I can make it happen. And I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I can make it happen. I'll make it happen. I was like, that'd be awesome. So I went to their next wrestling show, and I talked to the main promoter. I'm not going to name names because I'm going to expose myself. I'm going to kind of but yeah, just not to name names. Met the promoter, and he was like, yeah, you seem like not a wimp that's just going to do this so he can get famous and get out of it. Like, you want to get your ass kicked. I said, yeah, please, I want to be put through a table. I want to get my ass kicked. And he was like, oh, okay. So at that show, I talked to one of the wrestlers, and he was like, okay, you're going to come in here. You're going to kick me in the nads. And I was like, oh, I was told I was going to get my ass kicked. And he was like, no, you don't need to get your ass kicked. You don't know what you're doing. And I said, teach me. He said, okay. So we got into the ring, and he taught me how to bump over and over again. And he was like, do you want to take a clothesline? I said, I'd love to take a clothesline. And I took a clothesline, and man, just bumping over and over again and taking those clotheslines, I was like, okay, wow, this wears you out. Like, quick, it wears you out. And he's like, you want to take a power slam? And I was like, you know what? Let's just do the clothesline. let's stick with that, and we'll and then we'll take you to Dick Kick City, and we'll move on our way. So that was actually funny enough, looking at the Facebook memories, part a lot of part of my like gimmick on Facebook, it's not a gimmick, but it's a gimmick on Facebook, is I will share all of my Facebook memories, cringy or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will share them all. It's funny enough, yesterday is the 4-year anniversary of this crazy fucking journey.
Nice.
Of me taking this guy to Dick Kick City. 4
So
years.
okay, that would be
Uh,
2017. Wow.
yeah.
So
Um,
Cornette would have been out of OVW at that point, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, OVW was a long, like that was long gone out of my head,
Mm-hmm.
long gone. And but I was like, okay, cool. And they liked what I did. They liked what I brought. Of just like I'm not some guy that's looking to be him, because a lot I witnessed it a lot where a lot of like fans would come up and they'd want to be managers,
Mm-hmm.
where they essentially just want to be part of the show, but they didn't want to have to do any work. They just thought they could talk, and they can't. Um, just simple as that, guys. You can't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Eh, Uh,
There's a lot of people like that, unfortunately.
oh my God, all over TikTok too, all over TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I don't sit there and say, yeah, I'm the best fucking promo on TikTok, because I don't know how good I am. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, and I used to think I was really fucking good. I this will get into later. Uh, so I started talking to this promoter. I said, I want to start training to wrestle with you guys. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, cool, come to every show and we'll train you a couple hours before the show, and we'll do some training sessions. I was like, cool. So like once a month, I was going to the show and I was getting my ass kicked. And this came in month after month. I uh I think I learned how to do a couple hip tosses. I learned how to do some arm drags, and I
Mm-hmm.
learned how to work the leg. Other than that, didn't learn much.
Mm-hmm.
But we started to, and I will say this right now. I should have mentioned this from the beginning. This is not a good fucking promotion. Like, this is some borderline backyard, like, just ass, like shit wrestlers, shit promoter, shit ring, shit venue, just overall shit.
Is
Just
it? Did it come across like one of those places where the guy was just in it to make money, didn't really give a shit one way or the other?
yeah, yeah. It
Okay.
was it
Yeah.
was his way. It was his way of making money. But even then, I don't even know if he was in it to make money. I think because he's been a wrestler like his entire life. Like I watched his tapes. Like, he wasn't just some random dude. Like, he worked with, some big names, but he never amounted to anything. At least
Oh, so
his,
it's like one of the guys that come in from local events from like the big promotions and just do a job essentially.
yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, and this is just all this guy knew. So I think this is just what he knew. He didn't really care, but this is what he knew. Anyway, um, so this place is the Drizzle, and I don't realize it at the time because I think that's what indie wrestling is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's indie wrestling. You eventually get good enough to move on to better indie wrestling, and then you get to WWE or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
So I am just I'm working battle royals in fucking tennis shoes, basketball shorts, and a goddamn tank top. Like, I have no business being in this fucking ring at all.
Okay.
Like when I say borderline backyard, I fucking mean it. Like,
You
it
just
was
described every like backyard video you can find on YouTube with the whole
absolutely.
shorts and tank top and sneakers kind of thing.
Exactly. And that was our thing. It's just we had a venue. That was the whole thing. We had a semi-legitimate ring and a venue. So,
Mm.
uh so I'm doing that for a while. And then I see that Tetsuya Naito is going to be at the promotion Glory Pro Wrestling in St. Louis, which is about a 3-hour drive from me. And I'm like, I want to go to that. And because this was at the height of Naito in New Japan,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to go. So I pack up me, my girlfriend, and her brother, and we drive all the way to Glory Pro Wrestling. And holy fucking shit, that was indie wrestling, and that's when I realized I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Holy shit, what are we doing? And I was like, we need to be better. We need to be better than this. So the radio station I was working for was also a TV station, and I'm an all over the place storyteller, man. And this is why I shouldn't be a fucking storyteller in the ring, because I'm all over the place. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, the television station / radio station I'm working for is filming some events and putting it on local syndication. Just our TV station is what it is, just bad shows. But it was what it was. And the company was paying for it. The company was legitimately through and through paying for the shows that were going on. And I was like, okay, if we're gonna put this on TV, we need to be better. So I went to the promoter and I said, I want to book a main event. He's like, you want to book a main event? I said, I do, and I will put my own money up for it. It's like, I want to book a main event. And he was like, okay, let's start planning this. I said, okay. So we start planning this. Meanwhile, at one of my training sessions, I take a really bad clothesline and I just smack my head on the mat, just rail it right on the mat. And I just think to myself, how about I just do producing and stuff like that? So I do a couple shows where I ring announce and I produce matches. I produce the card, which was a lot of fun, actually. Because that's what everyone wants to do, right? They always want to be the booker.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I will say it was fun, but man, it's hectic. It's hectic as hell. And anyway, in the meantime, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to book this show. Who is someone cheap? But also kind of a big name. So this was 2017. Remember, it's 2017. Actually, it's 2018 now.
Okay.
It was around January, February, whenever I started planning this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I saw this post on Reddit where it was like a list of like indie stars and how much they charged. And I looked at the very bottom. I was like, okay, who's at the bottom? And I saw 3 names that stuck out to me. That was Joey Janela, Chuck Taylor, and Joey Ryan.
Well, at least I was pre-speaking out movement, Joey Ryan.
Yeah. So I send a message to Joey, I send a message to Chuck, and I send a message to Ryan, the other Joey. And only one of those Joeys messaged me back. I'm sure you can
Janela?
tell by No.
Really?
I'm sure you could tell by the way that this conversation's going. It was Joey Ryan that messaged me back.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually thought it would have been Janela.
No, because I wanted to do the battle of the Joeys. I wanted to do Joey Janela and Joey Ryan.
That would be such a weird match.
Joey Ryan was the only one that messaged me back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they did it before in Australia, and it was a pretty decent match, all things considered. But it was, so that was it. I was like, okay, I'm going to book Joey Ryan versus whoever I can get. And I sealed the deal. I was like, I've got Joey Ryan for however much. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is great. And then I get cocky. I'm like, I want to book another match. So I message a local high flyer, Trey Miguel, of Impact fame now, and Gringo Loco of GCW and MLW fame now.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them messaged me back. They all agreed to do a triple threat. And I'm like, yeah, this is awesome.